Hello everybody, my name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been reported recently that the Chicago Bulls, when or if they decide to trade Zach LaVine, that they want a ready now, a win now player to help the Chicago Bulls team get over the hump and become a competitive team. Now, we're going to quickly discuss this in this video, whether or not I agree or disagree with this situation as it stands right now. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and comment down below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you would like to see a win now player head to the Chicago Bulls. And look, in a hypothetical situation where we could get a win now player into the Chicago Bulls team, who would that be? You know, I've seen reports of Zion Williamson. I just can't see that can happen. Maybe a Donovan Mitchell. Apparently he wants to leave Cleveland. Maybe something can get done over there. Maybe it's a couple of role players that can come in and make us a more team unit in many ways compared to what we currently already are. I don't know how we get a win now type of situation with a Zach LaVine trade, but that seems to be what Arturas Karnisovas and the Bulls management team is looking for in this current instance. Now, let me start off by saying, before I tell you what I think or not think about this situation, this adds up with every other report that we have seen from the Chicago Bulls. I think Bulls fans want to bring the rebuild in. Bulls fans want draft compensation. Bulls fans want young talent. Bulls fans want the young guys to play. That's what I want. I wanted to see Zach LaVine sit for the rest of his tenure here with the Chicago Bulls, to let guys like Kobe, Pat, and Io develop until Zach LaVine can find that work ethic that brought him to the success that he did have with the Chicago Bulls. And we didn't really get to see that. So I wanted Zach to sit, in all honesty. I'm not going to lie when I say that. But whatever the case may be, the front office has always felt differently. When the recent reports of Zach LaVine wanting out of Chicago and Chicago wanting to trade Zach LaVine came out, that mutual agreement with each other came out, Sham said this right afterwards, that the Bulls wanted to extend DeMar DeRozan. Now, who in their right mind would want to extend DeMar DeRozan and keep and re-sign Nikola Vucevic the season before, just to rebuild with DeMar DeRozan in the team? It doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. When DeMar DeRozan was reported that the Bulls wanted to keep him, that to me signaled that the Bulls always had in the back of their mind they wanted to compete. They wanted to retool over rebuild. And that remains consistent clearly. I don't see any situation where the Bulls actually came out and said that they want to rebuild. They said it slightly, I believe, in the off-season talks towards the end of the season, you know, in-season press conference, whatever they had, saying that rebuilding was kind of the last option on their mind. At least that made it suggested that it could have been an option for, I guess, the Chicago Bulls in hindsight. But whatever the case may be, they've been more consistent for a retooling than a rebuild. So all of this makes sense. The Bulls have been thinking about this for a long time. Now, I guess the question is that the right or wrong choice for the Chicago Bulls to make? What I will say is this: I like how our youngsters are playing. I really, really do. I like Kobe White and how he's developed into a superstar, or kind of developed into a close to an all-star level player. Hopefully, if he keeps this up, he could be an all-star player. Again, the way that he's playing right now is all-star level. It is as simple as that. You know, I like how Patrick Williams, even in his rough games, is really stepping up to the plate defensively, bringing his A-game defensively, moving without the ball. And again, he's getting his offense in there from time to time as well. I do like how Io impacts the game defensively, even when he struggles offensively. I do like the fact that even though I don't like them playing together, we're seeing Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips play for the Chicago Bulls right now, getting our young guys to develop a little bit more. I don't like them together. I must admit that. I feel like when you play Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry together, it just allows the defense to rest for the Denver Nuggets, which is what happened. And it sucks because both of them are not really ready to be prolific scorers at the NBA level as of yet. Maybe they won't ever become prolific scorers. I don't know. But playing them two together, I didn't like. Simple as that. But at least they're playing. Development. Getting the young guys ready and prepared for what the NBA is going to be like. I like those things. But a win now player is something that, if we could get done right, I would like. Hypothetical situation here, of course. If we get the right player into the Chicago Bulls, I would like that. I don't necessarily want a ball-dominant player. So I'm thinking of ready now type of guy or a win now type of guy I'm thinking of a guy that can work off the ball. I'm thinking of a guy maybe like a Pascal Siakam type of player, where he's not going to be bringing up the ball, trying to be the point guard of the Chicago Bulls. He'll play his natural position as a forward and be an elite level player as a forward. That might work because the ball doesn't get out of Kobe White's hands. DeMar's going to be DeMar, and Pascal can be working in the post, can be shooting threes, and can be doing some unique things for the Chicago Bulls that we have not seen yet. If something like that comes around for the Chicago Bulls, I would be open to it. But with that being said, I don't see a situation where we could get a guy like that. I think for Pascal, it's a different story because Pascal, it's rumored that there could be trades on the horizon for him. That makes sense. But most teams, superstars in the league, if you're trying to get a win now player, a superstar player in return for Zach LaVine, are not going to give up that player for Zach LaVine. Even the teams that are linked to Zach LaVine will not give up their superstars for Zach LaVine. You think of the Lakers, they are not giving up LeBron. They are not giving up AD, and there's big conversations they won't even give up Austin Reeves. So, again, that's something right there. The 76ers, if they give up Tyrese Maxey for Zach LaVine, then trusting the process is over. That's how bad a trade like that would be for the 76ers. So there's no way that happens. They're obviously not getting rid of Joel Embiid. So those are the two teams that are suited to Zach LaVine. There's no way the superstar players are coming out of that team. But you think of any other team, what superstar caliber player are you going to get in return? I don't necessarily know if there's one out there for the Chicago Bulls that makes us a win now. We are absolutely ready to go and compete. But if I could find one, Pascal Siakam is the guy that I'm looking at. And guys, in that way, an off-ball type of player is exactly what I'm looking at. So that might work, but most likely you're not going to get that type of guy. So in my eyes, I still believe the rebuild is the way to go. Now, DeMar DeRozan, I don't necessarily know if he's going to be a Chicago Bulls player for much longer. I don't know if he's going to be here past this season or not. Nikola Vucevic is a guy that signed 3 years. I think one of them is a player option at the end of the day. So we don't necessarily know how long Nikola Vucevic is going to be on this team either. But whatever the case may be, I feel like getting picks, draft compensation, and maybe getting a couple of role players is the best of both worlds in my eyes. If you could get a couple of picks and a couple of role players, some role players that are actually valuable to the Chicago Bulls that can help you win games, that's fantastic. I would love to see that for the Chicago Bulls. And if you get a draft pick, well, hey, look, we have draft picks of our own, first and foremost. If you can get a draft pick for Zach LaVine, if you can get multiple draft picks for Zach LaVine, if the Bulls role players and everybody constructed, if that team does suck, you got your backup situation right there in the draft. I remember a situation where the Warriors had Stephen Curry injured for a whole season. I think he broke his wrist or something along those lines. And they sat him out for the whole year. Even when he was able to return, he didn't return because Golden State were last in the league. That shows the impact of Stephen Curry, by the way. But they took the second pick there. And they picked James Wiseman, which wasn't a good pick in hindsight. But still, they used that pick to go and bolster up their squad. They could have traded the pick away, but they used the pick. I feel like for the Bulls, it's good to have backups in multiple areas. If those role players do end up making us win more games, all right, then off we go. Let's go win more games. If the role players that we bring into the Chicago Bulls inevitably don't allow us to win more games, and we're still in the same situation where we're fighting for play-in season type of situations, we're in the play-in tournament or whatever the case may be, at least if you get some sort of pick in return, you can use that pick to bolster up a rebuild. I think it makes sense in both avenues. I really, really do. That's the best situation for Zach LaVine. When I say we look at the Sacramento Kings, or we look at the OKC Thunder, or we look at the Indiana Pacers, it's not necessarily because I want a full rebuild, or I believe they could give us the best offers for a full rebuild. A full rebuild, send them to the San Antonio Spurs. Send him to the Detroit Pistons, if you want. That's a full rebuild. You can get their picks, and their picks might be extremely valuable. But when I think of teams like the Kings, the Thunder, the Pacers, these are teams that could use a Zach LaVine, that has very good role players on their team that could desperately make us better, but they also have picks that are valuable as well in case this situation with Zach LaVine doesn't work, or they don't become the team that they're thought of, or whatever the case may be. If they, the West is so competitive, if any team falls into the play-in tournament, they can still have a positive record, still get a very high pick. Because they're still that low, even if they do have a positive record. That's why I'm looking at those teams, because you can get the best of both worlds in my eyes. What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? If I had to pick, I'd still pick a team rebuild. I'm never going to change my mind off of that. But best of both worlds could be an ideal situation. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow if you are new. See you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.